And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and this is our preview, the beginning of the USA Eagles European tour for the fall, as we have international test matches coming up for the entire world of rugby. But of course, we're more of a USA focused channel. We'll be focusing on the three upcoming matches. Very, very crucial matches for the United States, as I'll get into in just a second. As number 15 USA Men's Eagles take on 18 Scotland Men's Rugby. First match of our European tour. Following, we'll be playing Georgia and then Romania. Obviously, out of those three teams, Scotland is the highest ranking and definitely the toughest opponent for our young Eagles squad. But this will be a really great test to give, again, our young Eagles squad a lot of experience, a lot of chance to really show their cohesiveness as a team, as well as to play away from home. So again, this is going to be a really big challenge, but a good challenge for the team, as of course we prepare for the 2027 Rugby World Cup in Australia, which again, congratulations to the United States for qualifying just recently with their win over Samoa. Of course, going back to this match is going to be this Saturday, November 1st, 11:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. A little preview, the only game for these three upcoming matches that are within a reasonable time for us West Coast fans, because they're all going to be played in Europe. This will be in the world-famous Murrayfield Stadium, Edinburgh, Scotland. You can watch it live on demand on Paramount Plus. Again, I'm not sponsored by Paramount Plus, but I highly recommend, if you are a rugby fan, get on Paramount Plus. All of the USA Men's Eagles games are going to be on there. I believe the upcoming HSBC Sevens as well. And there's just so much going on with Paramount Plus. A lot of great content. If you're into shows like Dexter's on there. The new Dexter show that's coming on. As well as if you're a UFC fan, all of the upcoming UFC pay-per-views. There's no longer pay-per-views. All those big events will only be available on Paramount Plus in 2026. So you might as well get on it, because that's going to save you a lot of money. And again, lots and lots of rugby. So definitely something to invest in. Let's get on to this match. So again, this match is very important, because what's going on with all the upcoming international test matches will be seeding rankings for our upcoming 2027 Rugby World Cup pool. We'll have the drawing on December 2nd. I believe it's December 2nd. We'll have the drawing to determine the pool placement for all the teams that qualified for the Rugby World Cup. Again, USA did qualify. And the way that those pools will be developed, and I'll go into this in detail when we do a preview of that drawing, is going to be based on where they are ranked at the end of these international test matches in the fall. So, again, and not to go into the mathematical details, the way that it works when a lower ranked team plays a higher ranked team, you're not going to lose a lot of ranking or drop a lot of points when you're playing against a higher ranked team, especially when you're playing in their field. But if USA can pull off an upset, they will skyrocket up the rankings. Of course, playing against Georgia and Portugal. Georgia is, I believe, a little bit higher ranked than USA. That's a big win if USA can do it. Portugal would be the lowest team that USA will play against. But again, every match is going to be important, because if USA can go up a couple of spots, that might make a big difference in where they're placed in the pool for the USA Men's Rugby World Cup drawing. So again, every match is going to be important in these upcoming international test matches. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to put up the roster right here. And this roster with head coach Scott Lawrence is very, very similar to the roster that played Samoa, where USA were able to beat them just a couple months ago to qualify for the Rugby World Cup. 12 of the top starting 15 are the exact same players that played against Samoa. So I like this lineup, because it really is starting to show the cohesiveness for head coach Scott Lawrence. It's again, we are focusing on the 2027 Rugby World Cup. We've qualified, so now it's time to start building that team. Getting the team familiar with each other, keeping the roster what it is, a solid core, a lot of young players, but they will eventually gain the cap experience as we get into 2027 to become a more experienced team. And again, a great chance to earn some really big experience playing against a top-notch Tier 1 team like Scotland on a big stage like Murrayfield. A couple of ones that I like to point out with this roster is actually going to be more on the reserve numbers. So if you look at the reserve list right there, and I want to point out the return of Makeen Ali Khan, the young Anthem rugby player. This will only be his 5th cap as an Eagle, but unfortunately, if you remember, he suffered a pretty bad injury when USA played against Japan, was not able to play against Samoa in the qualifier for the Rugby World Cup, but now we see that he is back in the lineup, so that's great to see that he's back. Also, too, number 16, the return of Sean McNulty to the USA Eagles lineup. Sean McNulty, a former LA Giltini, unfortunately a former Miami Shark, and I only say that unfortunately because now, of course, Miami's not around, so he is unattached, but it's nice to see Sean McNulty on there considering he wasn't on the original list of player pools for the USA Eagles when that was released. He was actually one of the reserves, but again, I think with the fact that Kapili Pifoletti, who I feel is the preferred hooker for head coach Scott Lawrence, and of course he's unavailable for these next 3 matches because of his time with Provence, the Pro 14 team. I'm sorry, the top 14 team in France. I believe Sean McNulty was given the call up to possibly see how well he gels with the mix of props that USA Eagles have. Again, one of the big things we'll be watching out for in these upcoming matches is the line-out play of the USA Eagles, which was, to be very blunt, was horrendous in the Pacific Nations tournament. So we do need to clean that up. Without Kapili Pifoletti, we might see some problems. So we'll see if Sean McNulty or even Caleb Geiger, who is getting the start as hooker, hopefully will kind of clear those up. Also would like to give a shout out to Maliu Nuife Liu, who is a California Legion player. He just earned his 1st cap when they played against Samoa. He's now getting his 2nd cap here on the reserve bench. And again, I like this lineup because it is a nice mix of young players, but of course we'll be looking at some of the more experienced talent. There is no AJ McGinty. He is busy with the Bristol Bears, so we'll of course be looking for the experience from Ruben De Haas. This will be his 38th match as a USA Eagle at the scrum half position, and then coming off the bench, the more experienced players, Tavita Lopetti at center, Luke Carty, 24 and 23 caps for their belt, and of course the leadership of one Jason Dahm of the California Legion. He will once again be the captain of this USA Eagles side. Now, let's talk about Scotland. For those USA Eagles fans who are not too familiar with Scotland, this will be the 8th match that the USA Eagles will be going against Scotland. Unfortunately, in the prior 7 matches, USA has only won once, and that was back in 2018, a close-as-it-gets match. USA won 30-29 in 2018, and that match took place in Houston. Of course, the last time that these two squads faced off was just a year ago, July 2024, in Audi Field, where unfortunately USA was pretty trounced 42-7. I do want to give a shout out to Tommaso Boni, one of my favorite USA Eagles players. He was the only player to score a try in that match. He will be in this lineup today. Both of these lineups, and we'll put up the Scotland team roster right here. Again, won't go into too much detail with these players. There are a few I'd like to focus on, but if you look at the USA Eagles roster and the Scotland roster and compare them to the teams that played a year ago, it's practically 2 different teams. USA Eagles, out of the 23-man roster, only 9 of those players played in that match against Scotland a year ago. Scotland, only 10 of those players played against England. It is just like the USA side, a pretty good mix of veterans and inexperienced players. Liam McConnell, flanker, will be making his debut as a Scotland cap player, so congratulations to him. One player that is not on the roster, and I'm sure a lot of Rugby USA, experienced USA Eagles rugby fans will know, is the missing of one Finn Russell, who, if you don't know who Finn Russell is, he is arguably one of the best players playing right now in rugby. Finn Russell, of course, plays for Bath, a European Premiership rugby team. The way that it works with Premiership and Test matches, there is a window where a player is allowed to play to give them enough time to rest, as well as prevent any kind of injury to interfere with their time playing for other club teams. So, fortunately, unfortunately, this match with the USA falls out of that window, so Finn Russell ineligible to play, which again, it's actually kind of a good thing for us Eagles fans, because Finn Russell is phenomenal. But even though Finn Russell is in the lineup, there are still quite a few dangerous players on the Scotland team. Of course, Adam Hastings is one of them. He's fly half. He was one of the men that played against USA last year. He was perfect in that game off of the tee, 5 for 5 conversions. He is an experienced player, very, very talented, very smart player. So, gotta watch out for him. But the two players for sure you gotta watch out for, and they are dangerous. The dynamic duo of one Duhan Vandermeer and Darcy Graham. Now, I'll admit I'm more familiar with Duhan Vandermeer just because when I started getting into rugby and I was watching a lot of European rugby, Premiership, URC, Duhan Vandermeer was starting his career with Edinburgh there, and my God, phenomenal talent. I was watching him right as he got his first cap for Scotland, but you could tell he was something special. And boy, has he been special. In just 5 years playing for Scotland, he is the #1 try scorer for Scotland with 32 tries. Darcy Graham, though, 1 try behind him with 31. So combined total, those two players have 63 tries between them for Scotland. They are the #1 and #2 try scorers. And what's more remarkable is that this will be Duhan Vandermeer's 50th cap, so congratulations to him. He has scored the most tries for Scotland in the quickest amount of time possible. Now, granted, it will be interesting because Darcy Graham, this will be his 48th cap. He's only 1 try behind from Duhan Vandermeer, so if he can get a couple of tries within the next couple of games, he will outpace Duhan Vandermeer as the quickest to get the most tries for Scotland. But those two, that winger combination, one of the most dangerous winger combinations in all of world rugby today. USA obviously has to be careful of that. Scotland, they've been kind of an up and down team, to be honest. They didn't have the best campaign in the Six Nations tournament. 2 wins, 3 losses. And then, unfortunately, they had a surprising loss to Fiji. Now, Fiji is a team that's on the rise. The game was in Fiji. I watched it, and they were missing a few players. No Finn Russell, no Duhan Vandermeer as well. Darcy Graham, unfortunately, got a very odd red card in that game. So, not taking anything away from Fiji, but that was a very odd game for Scotland. Fiji was able to win that, though. So, Scotland, though, definitely doesn't want to get any more upsets. This will be a home crowd for them. Watching the games in the Six Nations for Scotland, the strategy for the United States will be, you got to play them physical. You got to play them physical and play them hard. You got to score early and quick, which, unfortunately, with the Pacific Nations tournament, we see glimmers of that, but we don't see a consistency of that. Usually what happens with the United States is that they'll try to come off really hot and then kind of taper at the end. USA, obviously, with more experience, has to learn to be able to sustain that stability, which is where Fiji really did very well, as they seem to have gotten stronger and faster as the game went, kind of keeping Scotland on the back foot. If USA can kind of do that and somehow find a way to really neutralize Graham and Vandermeer, USA has a great shot of winning this game. But again, Duhan Vandermeer and Darcy Graham are just two phenomenal players. Scotland likes to play a very physical, fast-scoring game. The games that they won in the Six Nations, it was all Graham and Duhan Vandermeer scoring right off the bat. They play very fast. They have a lot of great line play, and on the edges because of their fast wingers, Vandermeer and Graham. You gotta be careful with them, and you can't give them that opening. So again, USA has to be aggressive. They have to play fast. Basically, they have to out Scotland what Scotland likes to do at the beginning, and then they got to hold on. They got to hold on for the whole 80 minutes. It will be a hard task. I'm going to be honest with you. But what I look at this game more so than a win is just, again, just a great experience, a great chance for a lot of young players for the USA Eagles to experience international rugby on, like I said, Murrayfield is one of the most legendary stadiums in all of rugby, the largest stadium in Scotland, I believe 5th largest in Europe. So it is just has a lot of history. It's going to be a big home crowd. So again, on such a big stage, it's going to give a lot of U.S. players that experience of knowing what it's like to play in those environments and try to, be able to stand up and win those games. Again, not necessarily looking for a win, just looking for the experience here. And like I said, this roster is looking to be the roster that head coach Scott Lawrence is looking to go with throughout probably this European tour, maybe going into 2026, 2027. So he is finding that cohesiveness as well. So I'm excited because, again, it's going to be great to watch this team grow and merge as we prepare for 2027. Scotland's going to be a very interesting game, but I feel game with Georgia and the game with, not Portugal, Romania will be really interesting to watch. Georgia's going to be a fun one. Romania has to be a win for the United States. Scotland is just going to be a game where we're really going to see what playing a Tier 1 nation is like in a Tier 1 nation territory. So that's the game. So again, watch the game Saturday, November 1st, 11:40 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is the kickoff. Paramount Plus. Unfortunately, I will not be able to do a watch along for any of these games. Real life calls. I have a lot of fun doing it. I'm hoping to be able to do that in the future. I am going to have the ability, fortunately for me, to be able to do some commentary on games here in the United States on the club, college, and high school level. So I'm super, super excited to share that with you guys in the future. But yeah, I want to do my watch-alongs. I'm hoping to bring them back in the future. It's just unfortunately not for this upcoming tour. But that doesn't mean you can't watch this game, Paramount Plus, live or on demand, and watch the following next games was against Georgia and Romania on Paramount Plus as well. So again, that is my video. Thank you very much for checking it out. Appreciate your support as always, and I'll see you on the pitch. Go USA!